Outrageous Chapter 58. Liu Jiwei seemed almost like she had been bewitched, staring at Sang Wansi. The heartbeat hidden in her chest was racing so quickly it was hard to control, as if it was trying hard to tell her something. Something that had always existed, but had been ignored by her. Sang Wansi's fingertip was still resting on her lips. Caressing, rubbing. The kiss obviously had not happened yet, but their breathing was already intermingled. The atmosphere was like a bonfire, scorching their hearts. Sang Wansi looked into Liu Jiwei's eyes. She was very happy to hear this answer from Liu Jiwei. Clean and simple, but moving. If she could say that, that meant her heart had Sang Wansi too, right? Even if she was not placed into the position of like, at least it was definitely different from everybody else. Her Jiwei definitely wasn't someone who would casually let other people kiss her. Feeling that difference, her heart was happy enough. She didn't plan to ask Liu Jiwei why she wanted to. She still wanted to kiss her. How could she scare her away now? So she smiled lightly, her eyes curving. Okay, I agree to let you kiss me. Then she kissed Liu Jiwei without hesitation. Leaning in closer, touching her, holding her in her mouth as if she was a treasure. All the secret desires melted in their combined breaths. Sang Wansi attacked her lips without hesitation, gentle yet passionate. Liu Jiwei's feet shifted, until her back was pressed against the door with nowhere else to go. They were pressed together tightly, parting for an instant reluctantly before kissing each other again. Their breaths were filled with the other person's sweet, soft breath. All the sounds in the world seemed to have been pulled far away, silence ringing in their ears. There was only the sound of their pounding hearts. This was shyness, but it was also a liking for this intimacy that could not be easily expressed. Liu Jiwei could not help herself from wrapping her arms around Sang Wansi's neck. The two of them were like an intimate couple at this time. Sang Wansi's body had a slight fragrance of peaches. That was when Xiao Chu was trying on her new peach perfume and accidentally sprayed some onto Sang Wansi. It smelled fragrant and sweet. And delicious. It was putting Liu Jiwei in a tough spot. She could not help but bite a little more and get a little closer, wanting to completely eat Sang Wansi up. Actually, Liu Jiwei was very doubtful. Her answer, everything she was doing now, was it really only because the peach fragrance was too tempting? Her fingertips brushed against the back of Sang Wansi's pale neck. No. She denied that thought, opening her eyes slightly. She could clearly feel the other person's presence in front of her. From her lips to her heart, there was no way to ignore it. The answer to her question was clear. Because it was Sang Wansi, because she was mesmerizing. Because she pampered me. Because she treats me well. Because I like her. I like her, I like Sang Wansi. She is the reason my heart's racing and I cannot control my feelings. Just like in idol dramas, the male lead will eventually still fall in love with the female lead, there's no way to escape it. Liu Jiwei closed her eyes slowly, hugging Sang Wansi even tighter. She actually did not dare to confirm if this feeling was what people commonly called like. But at this moment, she was beyond willing to sink into this sweetness. No matter what happened in the future, please be closer to me right now. Let me obtain you, and have you. Even if it is just for a few minutes, it is enough to light up my plain years. Sang Wansi clearly felt Liu Jiwei drawing closer involuntarily. She did not refuse. The two of them prolonged this farewell kiss, each with their own intentions. The inexperienced kiss was made up for by their emotions, each moment filled with sweetness and joy. No matter what, Being able to have such intimate contact with the person you liked was already enough to make a person happy. When they finally parted, their eyes were filled with blurred affection. They only had each other in their eyes. They looked at each other. Nobody said anything, as if this would stop time. They even secretly wished that the farewell would never come. But a wish was a wish. Humans lived in reality, not in their desires. So they still had to face the fact that they just kissed again. Was it normal for friends to kiss each other? Was it logical? The answer was obvious. Only, in their eyes, the other person's intentions weren't clear. They could not figure out what kind of mentality the other person was kissing them with. They hoped it was because they liked each other, but they worried it was just an illusion. What if she said, "I just wanted to try the feeling of kissing again," nonchalantly? So Liu Jiwei did not dare to express her feelings, wanting to change the topic and not let this affect their relationship. Sang Wansi did not plan to express her feelings right now either. It's fine if she wanted to try, they could try until she fell for her. They had plenty of time. She was willing to take it slow with Liu Jiwei. But what had to be done now was to save this atmosphere. Sang Wansi took the initiative to reach out. She leaned forward, pressing a kiss to Liu Jiwei's forehead. "I hope everything's successful for you." As if her kiss just now had no trace of selfishness, purely wanting to share her good luck with her big sis. Liu Jiwei really believed it, feeling guilty and ashamed. "She just wanted to wish you good luck and fulfill your request before you leave. How could you have such thoughts about her? What like? Does it look like she likes you now? She's just good-natured, so she treats you nicely." "Liu Jiwei, you're really a dirty adult." Cough. Liu Jiwei cleared her throat, looking away as she rubbed her nose. "Xiao Chu's perfume is pretty nice, it smells sweet." "You like it?" Sang Wansi asked. There was a domineering air of, "If you like it then I will buy one and gift it to you." Liu Jiwei was shocked, hurriedly saying, "No, no, I just felt like it smelt sweet." "Feels like it will be pretty delicious." "Pretty delicious?" Sang Wansi raised an eyebrow. "So she kissed me for so long because of the perfume, is that so?" Again, the words were emotionless. "Why is it not because of me?" The more Sang Wansi thought about it, the more sour she got. She could not help but ask, "If someone else sprayed this perfume on, you would want to eat her too?" She sounded like some savage. If Sang Wansi misunderstood, then it was going to be a big problem. Liu Jiwei quickly clarified, "How could that be? I'm not someone who would casually kiss anybody." Sang Wansi's eyebrows slowly relaxed. "That's right. The perfume is secondary, she is the important part. Do not kiss anybody else but her, nobody else is as important as her." "That is good." Sang Wansi tidied her hair. "That is good that you are not that type of casual person. It is good if you do not casually kiss other people. It'll be even better if you just kiss me." Liu Jiwei's eyes furrowed slightly. She kept feeling like there was a subtle feeling floating in the air, but she could not grasp it. But it was good as long as Sang Wansi did not misunderstand that she was a casual person. She quietly watched as Sang Wansi turned around. She was going to leave tomorrow, and Sang Wansi was going to stay on to continue filming. Sang Wansi was popular in the crew, liked by both men and women. And this face of hers was famous for being able to attract both genders. It was okay when she wasn't thinking about it, but she immediately felt conflicted when she thought about it. What if Sang Wansi found another big sis after she left? Then wouldn't she become very unimportant, become replaceable? No, this cannot happen, she did not want it to. Not only because of the mission, but because of her feelings. Liking someone is essentially being selfish. Selfishly wanting to be the sole recipient of the other person's feelings. Selfishly wanting to be the one and only person in the other party's heart, to be irreplaceable. Wansi, she picked up her courage, locking eyes with Sang Wansi. You cannot be a casual person too. Sang Wansi suddenly didn't understand what identity Liu Jiwei was using to tell her this. An elder teaching a junior or purely as friends, is there really not a single trace of liking her? I will not. Sang Wansi put her thoughts aside and replied. Happy, Liu Jiwei reached out and rubbed her head. Good. Sang Wansi. She really did treat her as a mimi, didn't she? Forget it, an age gap isn't a problem. So be it if she's a mimi. There was no rule that you could only date someone your own age. Even if there was, she was going to break that rule. Let's rehearse. Liu Jiwei held her hand and pulled her towards the living room. Her last scene was to be shot with Sang Wansi. It was ideal to practice a few times beforehand. Before sleeping, Liu Jiwei lay in bed and looked through her friends' updates on WeChat. In the past, she had a habit of regularly updating her WeChat, posting about items she made, posting scenery photos and even selfies when the mood struck her. No matter if other people could see it, she was just recording her own life. But when she started acting again, she didn't continue updating her WeChat that much. But Liu Shijiao would occasionally go through Liu Jiwei's old updates and comment on them. So she was not surprised at all that Liu Shijiao knew her handiwork was better now. Occasionally, she would look at Liu Shijiao's updates and see what was going on in her life. The little girl had grown up, slender and prettier than she was when she was young. She had 2 tiger teeth when she smiled, looking obedient and cute. After a few more glances, she closed Liu Shijiao's selfie. Sang Wansi had just leaned over, not seeing the image clearly but noticing it was a woman. Sang Wansi looked at her nervously. Jiwei, what are you looking at the person you like? She would not go behind Sang Wansi's back and have someone she liked already. Liu Jiwei laughed. What person I like? I do not have anybody I like, that's my sister's selfie. Sang Wansi raised an eyebrow lightly. Nobody she liked. Then if you like someone, remember to tell me. She wanted to see how she measured up to the person. Whether it be gender or personality. Liu Jiwei turned her head to look at her. Sang Wansi calmly said, it is not too much for a younger sister to know her older sister's type. Liu Jiwei was suddenly struck with a sense of déjà vu. This, did not she say it to Sang Wansi in the past? It seems like this. Good fellow, this kid was learning from her again. Liu Jiwei smiled and touched her face. I got it, I will tell you when I have one, okay? Wait until I have enough courage, I will definitely tell you how much I like you. Okay. Sang Wansi pulled the blanket up and covered her. Good night, Jiwei. Good night. Liu Jiwei's scenes finally came to a climax. The little junior sister and Qiaojing had a fight to the death. Obeying the demon prince's orders, the little junior sister repeatedly challenged Qiaojing, killing countless people, her hands stained with the blood of the innocent. She was no longer the young woman who would sit behind her senior sister and secretly eat apples, make mistakes when cultivating or get chased by monsters when she left the sect. She was a demon, the nightmare of the common people, the thorn in the eye of the cultivation word, and part of Qiaojing's most hated demon race. After battling her own convictions, Qiaojing finally chose to face this reality. She had to protect the world, she had to defeat the arrogant demon prince, so she had to learn how to escape the bonds of the past and break through this trial. Qiao Jing's struggle had already been shot when Liu Jiwei was taking a break to recover. Sang Wansi was in good condition, filming well. Everything was in preparation for this scene. Guo Hui hoped that Liu Jiwei would be able to put forward her best effort at the end, to give the little junior sister a perfect ending. If it was not filmed well, she would keep asking for a retake. Everybody had scenes, whether it was a lot or just a few, but to her, every role was important. She would not allow the actors to be flippant, she would not allow the actors to skive off, she wouldn't allow her work to be disrespected. At the same time, she believed that if Liu Jiwei could nail the last scene, the little junior sister's character would definitely be a highlight in the show. Liu Jiwei felt the pressure keenly, unable to relax. Actually, she did not have any lines of dialogue in the end. Adding up all her scenes, she had a much easier time than Sang Wanci. She only had to act as an emotionless dead person, but Sang Wanci had to act as a person who held back her pain as she fought someone she considered a sister. Her emotions were much higher. Guo Hui and the scriptwriter had the same big ambitions for both of them. Both of them did not dare to let down the cast, and they were not willing to let down each other's effort and seriousness. They prepared and got ready to film. The little junior sister received the order from the demon prince to kill Qiao Jing. Her red clothes fluttered as she moved like a ghost, leading Qiao Jing away, into a bamboo forest. Seeing it, Qiao Jing followed behind alertly. In the end, the trip was peaceful. There was no sound aside from her footsteps. It was so serene it felt like she was being invited to an elegant tea party. On the camera, Liu Jiwei's red dress flowed beautifully as she stepped into an open area in the bamboo forest, spacious enough for them to fight. Then she stood still, her face cold. Sang Wanci followed warily, slowing down as she saw Liu Jiwei, eventually stopping in the same clearing. This time, she felt a killing intent that hadn't been present before. Liu Jiwei turned around, looking at Sang Wanci. Liu Jiwei had to admit, Sang Wanci was incredibly attractive when she was acting seriously. She had thousands of expressions in everybody's eyes, but they were all lovable. That was why Liu Jiwei especially liked acting with her. The little junior sister had no lines, she just silently watched the moon that had been at the tip of her heart in the past. Liu Jiwei's eyes were cold and empty, without any trace of emotion. Then the little junior sister lifted her hand, charging towards Qiao Jing. Every strike was brutal, clearly looking to kill. Qiao Jing was skillful, avoiding each attack. At first, she still had not made the decision to draw her sword. Under the little junior sister's relentless attacks, she finally summoned Shen Bing and decided to attack. Qiao Jing twisted her body out of the way as a blast of demonic energy broke the bamboo behind her at waist height. The little junior sister stepped to the side as a dozen stalks of bamboo were sliced through by the sword's energy. Both sides were merciless. Good and evil were entangled, fighting hard. Qiao Jing looked at the changed little junior sister in front of her, as if she had seen a beam of light from the past. During then, the sect had been peaceful with no demons and no Shen Bing. All the disciples got along well. The little junior sister was the unluckiest one, and the most well-liked one. And the one who liked her the most. The little junior sister loved sticking closely to her, and she liked studying her mannerisms and moves. A hand with her palm facing outwards, cleanly held behind her back. The little junior sister said that looked cool and elegant, she liked it a lot, always asking the fifth junior brother and the rest to learn it. She still remembered the little junior sister said she hoped Qiao Jing could accomplish her dream to exterminate demons and slay monsters. She still remembered their promise. I promise, I will never hurt little junior sister, and I will protect you well. But she could not do it. She even had to kill her. How did things end up like this? Qiao Jing's eyes showed her pain, but when she looked at the demon general in front of her, her eyes filled with strong killing intent. It was the demon prince's fault, it was the fault of the demon race. If they did not exist, the little junior sister would not become like this. The little junior sister wouldn't be willing to become like this. She looked at the little junior sister and made up her mind. Kill her, to help set her free. The little junior sister felt Qiao Jing's killing intent grow stronger and stronger, so her lethal moves grew more and more vicious too. She even put herself in dangerous positions to attack, as if she was growing impatient. The sky darkened as dark clouds covered the city. The wind whipped through the bamboo forest, the air heavy and chilling. When the main group had escaped the demon prince and rushed over, the little junior sister and Qiao Jing were all bloodied. Everybody knew the demon generals wouldn't stop unless they were dead, and without striking a killing blow, Qiao Jing would eventually grow exhausted. Senior sister, kill little junior sister quickly, if this goes on, you'll die. The fifth junior brother shouted. His words landed. The little junior sister's eyes grew cold as her hand formed the shape of a claw and she charged at Qiao Jing. Qiao Jing immediately drew the energy from the air around her and sent it into Shen Bing, thrusting the sword forward. Victory or death, it would be decided at this moment. Righteousness and evil clashed, the energy overwhelming. Qiao Jing's eyes could not hold back a single tear from falling. At this moment, she suddenly saw the little junior sister pull her hand back, placing it behind her back. Swoosh, the long sword entered her body, piercing her heart, killing her without a fight. Everybody watching was stunned. Junior sister. Qiao Jing looked at the demon general, stunned. The little junior sister coughed out a mouthful of fresh blood. She did not care. Her eyes locked on Qiao Jing as she kept her two hands firmly behind her back. She took a step towards Qiao Jing. With each step forward, the sword sank in even deeper. Until she walked close enough to reach out a hand and wipe away Qiao Jing's tear. Senior sister. Her voice was raspy and difficult to listen to, unlike her clear, crisp voice from before. Do not cry. This was the last bit of rationality she had retained, giving it completely to the person she loved. She had a lot of things she wanted to say to Qiao Jing. She wanted to ask if she had lived well after leaving the sect, whether she had someone she liked, whether she had been bullied, whether she had thought of the little junior sister. She also wanted to ask, Senior sister, do you hate me now? But she did not have the chance. She would never have the chance again. Her life left her as she collapsed into Qiao Jing's arms, dead. She had used her own life to help Qiao Jing break through this tribulation. And she had lived up to her fate, dying painfully. Qiao Jing hugged her, slowly kneeling to the ground. She wanted to say something to the person in her arms, but she didn't know what to say. After a second, her tears fell first. Sang Wanxi's crying scenes were the most moving. It was painful when she wailed out loud, it was sorrowful when she wept silently. She could always touch everybody's hearts in the softest spot. So nobody called out to stop, being pulled into the sorrowful emotions by her acting. Liu Jiwei did not open her eyes, feeling like this was too familiar. The last time she acted with Sang Wanxi, the last scene she had to film before finishing was also as a dead person being hugged by Sang Wanxi as she cried. And she could not see Sang Wanxi crying for her with her own eyes. Thinking about it, she actually quite wanted to see how Sang Wanxi looked like while crying. A beauty shedding tears was always an attractive sight. But thinking about it, forget it. She could not bear to let Sang Wanxi cry. She hoped that pair of eyes would always be pretty and filled with happiness. Coming back to her senses, she professionally continued playing the role of a dead person, waiting for Guo Hui's instructions. This was the 5th time they had shot this scene. She did not know if Guo Hui was happy with it or not. Cut. Liu Jiwei and Sang Wansi calmed themselves down, looking at Guo Hui. Only to see Guo Hui take off her spectacles and rub her eyebrows, her eyes slightly red. Good, this take is very good, it is passed. Everybody's worked hard. The actors all sighed in relief. Liu Jiwei sat up, looking at Sang Wansi's reddened eyes with a tear that was still threatening to fall. No matter when, Sang Wansi was always the most mesmerizing. She was pretty to the point that people would want to fall into her trap and be stuck there forever. Sang Wansi did not notice, blinking. That tear fell like a pearl, streaking across her cheek as it landed in Liu Jiwei's palm. Gorgeous, breathtakingly beautiful. Liu Jiwei's heart started beating faster. She quickly raised a hand to wipe away the tear mark for Liu Jiwei, softly saying, "Ah, truly, nobody can stand it when our teacher Sang cries." Sang Wansi blinked again as if she had figured something out. "Jiwei, she cannot stand seeing me cry." Liu Jiwei patted her face. "Okay, our teacher Sang has also worked hard today." She hugged her and exhaled, "Wansi, I'm very happy I could work with you again, thank you." Sang Wansi hugged her back, "I'm very happy too. Then, I'm leaving first. See you next time." See you next time. Text me when you get home, be careful on the way back. I know, do not worry. The scriptwriter witnessed this scene and smiled as she indicated for Guo Hui to look. "Director Guo, I think these two kids would be very suitable if you want to film any same-sex dramas in the future." Guo Hui wiped her spectacles as she bit back a smile. "We still have to see if they are willing." She stood up and took the flowers from her assistant as she walked to Liu Jiwei, smiling, "Congratulations to our little junior sister for finishing her scenes." Liu Jiwei smiled as she got to her feet. "Thank you, Director Guo." This time, she had experience receiving flowers from others, she would not be so moved. She was speechless anymore. After Liu Jiwei got home, she was busy with moving to her new place. She thought that aside from Weibo and calls, she would not have any other communication with Sang Wansi for a while. In the end, she still underestimated the power of the protagonist's halo. Her master servant CP with Sang Wansi rushed onto the hot search. At Kitten's white gloves, I ship, I'm falling over, I need the big sister to film more greasy plots. At 27 degrees C, save me, this couple is too fragrant, sorry, I am gonna betray the official pairing for a second. At tomorrow will be a good day, sisters, I am directing you to a fanfic writer at Confused, she just wrote a CP with Xiaohe and the young miss, it is so fragrant, come and ship it. At I'm ready, see my ID Liu Jiwei. You guys are being too biased. Even though she said that, she still clicked into that fanfic writer's Weibo with a curious heart. It was pretty well written, but why was it all about those kind of things? What if Sang Wansi saw this? Such an innocent child, would not she be harmed? Liu Jiwei immediately started praying in her heart. This believer will eat a balanced mix of meat and vegetables for the rest of her life, in exchange for Wansi not seeing this fanfic. In the hotel, Sang Wansi was blow-drying her hair as she looked at the Weibo hot search. Not surprisingly, she saw the master servant CP with her and Liu Jiwei. She raised her eyebrows and tapped in. And she saw the comments. Then, she tapped into the homepage of Confused. She scrolled and randomly opened a chapter. 5 minutes later, she exited Weibo and put her phone down with an unchanged expression, but her ears were burning red. Outrageous Chapter 59. As someone who had been in the industry for 2 years, Sang Won-si did not lack CPS, she had them with both men and women. It was not like she had not read fanfic before either. In the past, she would calmly take a look then exit with no emotions. She had never been like this before, face red and ears burning. Because the other party was Liu Jiwei. The Liu Jiwei that she was missing dearly. She sat in silence for a moment, forgetting to blow-dry her hair. When the heat from her face had left, she picked up the phone again subconsciously. Reading it again. Although they were not together, but at least they were together in the fanfic. Aside from kissing and hugging, they had done everything else. Reading it, she lifted her eyes and thought about it, an idea coming to her. She wanted to show this fanfic to Liu Jiwei and gauge her reaction. Her gaze went back down to the screen. It had to be done face to face, so she could observe from a close distance to see if Liu Jiwei would be repulsed by being shipped with her. She would do that the next time she went to Liu Jiwei's house. But she did not know when the next time they met would be. Speaking of, she really did miss her Jiwei already. She hoped her Jiwei missed her too. She hoped her Jiwei did not have any other memes, or anybody else she liked. With Phoenix Broadcasting, Liu Jiwei's fans started to grow. Although the growth was slow and small, but at least there were new fans. There was more than just one area where the fans came from. Some were mwed by Xiao Xiao. Some came because of her acting skills. And some came because they were curious about Ying Xize and Sang Won-si always fighting over her. Just like that, she got a lot of active fans. Seeing the lively comments section, Liu Jiwei's heart was filled with joy. Although it couldn't compete with Sang Won-si and the rest, she was already contented. Her iron fan Xiao Xiao would no longer be waving a flag and shouting in support alone. She did it, she proved to Xiao Xiao that she didn't like the wrong idol. But she was still quite unused to being on the hot search since it was the first time. Holding her phone, she always felt nervous when seeing that master servant CP. She asked Wen Yao if the company had paid for it. Wen Yao replied, "It's natural, we did not pay." Liu Jiwei rubbed the back of her head. Not paid. This hot search was about to beat the official male-female CP for Phoenix. Was this the power of the protagonist halo? She thought about it, and Wen Yao sent another message, "Sister Jiwei, do not you have a good relationship with Sang Won-si? If you're so curious, why don't you go ask if they bought it?" Liu Jiwei, wake up, do you think they need a transparent person like me to get on the hot search? Liu Jiwei, buying my way onto the hot search, they might as well buy the hot search for Ying Xize. Anyway, she did not believe Sang Won-si's side would spend money on her. If it was her, she would not do it either. An ordinary, plain old actress, where would the popularity come from? Even if you threw money in, there wouldn't be any sound. She guessed that it was the protagonist halo at work. That is right, it must be. Wen Yao, no matter what, it is good that you are getting talked about. Wen Yao, Sister Jiwei, you might go viral. Wen Yao, I will soon become the manager of a famous artiste. Jpg. Liu Jiwei did not know whether to laugh or cry. A famous artiste, how could it be so easy? Oh right, she had the protagonist halo. She could not help but wonder. So was it so easy to do anything with the protagonist halo? Even the time needed and spent was less than others, maybe it was not even needed. Thinking about it, it did not feel fair. Then she thought of Sang Won-si. She thought of how Sang Won-si worked so hard when they first met. She thought of how responsible Sang Won-si was to want every detail to be perfect. That tiny bit of unfairness she felt melted away. It was not unfair. Sang Won-si only sacrificed more, not less. Her effort and her excellence were worthy of that halo on her head. Won-si was the best treasure in the world. Lao Wu suddenly spoke, "Oh, your teacher Meng is no longer the best treasure in the world." Lu Jiwei replied calmly, "Our teacher Meng is not competing in this round of the competition." Lao Wu raised an eyebrow as he drank his tea calmly. Lu Jiwei felt mystified. "Why do you suddenly have time to talk to me, this kid? I'm not busy to the point where I do not even have time to talk, right? It feels like it. It's not to that point. The program is pretty much finished these few days, I can take a breather." "Oh, you have worked hard. You too. You've worked hard filming too, Mommy's waiting for the day you become a top star." "Top star?" Lu Jiwei chuckled, falling back into bed, "It is still early." "Gold will no tea stay buried forever," Lao Wu said. "You, definitely one tea." Hearing that, Lu Jiwei climbed up and joked, "I do not believe it, unless my acting skills end up on the hot search." In the end, she really got on the hot search on the third day. Because of Xiao He's crying scene. The dumbfoundedness of receiving a present for the first time, the surprise of being cared about for the first time, they had all been brought out perfectly. Lu Jiwei looked at the hot search in shock. No way, she really ended up on the hot search. She dumbly clicked into Xiao He's crying scene on the list of topics. Save me, I can't think of an ID, Director Lee is really too good at picking actors, even a small character's crying scene is so lethal. Today's turn is also very hot, Woo, I'm crying. Do not cry, Mommy remembers your birthday, Mommy will give you a present, every year. Don't come over, save me, she is really good at acting. Do not even talk about the crying scene, up until now, every scene has been appropriate with the emotions brought out perfectly. Dripping, this crew is too powerful. No matter whether it's the main leads or the supporting characters, their acting skills are all too good. Watching until now, if I have to nitpick, it's only that Xiao Ying's acting skills are a bit youthful. You have to study hard from your big sis dog head." Because of this hot search, Lu Jiwei gained another wave of fans. Her originally peaceful comment section became more and more lively, with new fans running over to leave comments and cheer her on. Today's weather is great, work hard big sis, I hope big sister gets better and better. Your acting is super awesome, you will definitely be seen by more people in the future. I'm going to stake my claim as an Iron fan first support. So what, Woo, acting skills are great, handiwork is great, and you can cook. All these skills, can you give me one? I don't care, I want it, big sister's fans +1. Lu Jiwei rubbed her eyes, looked at the screen, then rubbed her eyes again. Disbelief was written all over her face. Sang Won-si, Chu Luo, Ying Xize. They all had it. But she still had not gotten used to herself getting on the hot search. The hot search would enter the gaze of the public. To the small transparent her from before, that seemed like an impossibility. But today, it all came true. She took 5 minutes to digest that she had really gotten onto the hot search because of her own acting skills. Happiness shone in her eyes as she grabbed the phone excitedly. Lao Wu, I really was praised. Lao Wu looked at her as if he was looking at his own daughter, tenderness in his eyes. He sighed, Silly child. Liu Shijiao threw a used tissue into the rubbish bin. She rubbed her red eyes as she exited the video app and opened Weibo. Liu Jiwei's crying scene had almost killed her too. She did not know what Liu Jiwei was thinking when she shot that scene. Did she think about her own life and convey those emotions anyway? After she watched it, she really wanted to be like Sangwon C's female lead and hug Liu Jiwei, telling her, in the future, I will remember. She would remember her sister's birthday every year. She sniffed as she prepared to blow more rainbow farts on her Amway account. Xiaohe was a small character, but she had a good character design, being loyal and likable. And Liu Jiwei's acting skills were good, a single crying scene would make anybody feel for her. If she did not immediately praise her now, when would she have to wait until then? She saw the hot search. And she saw her sister had a new bunch of younger siblings. In Liu Jiwei's comments section now, they were all copying Ying Xize and calling her sister. She was not mad, it was fine. Fans calling big sister was fine, it was only through the screen, they would not really become Liu Jiwei's younger siblings. But Ying Xize was different, he was on the verge of becoming a little bro. She did not know, in Liu Jiwei's heart, whether she or Ying Xize was more important. The next time, she would have to ask when she got a chance. She calmed herself down and prepared to blow a logical, rational rainbow fart about Liu Jiwei's crying scene. At this moment, Lu Mingming suddenly called her, Jiao Jiao. Her train of thought interrupted, she turned around to look at the person on the bed. What is it? Lu Mingming raised an eyebrow. The school's art fair in a few days, do you know who they invited? Liu Shijiao, who? Lu Mingming, Ying Xize. Liu Shijiao did not care, so. Lu Mingming, do not you like him? When the time comes, let us go take a look. Liu Shijiao, do not spread rumors, who likes him? That clearly was the enemy trying to steal her sister from her. After 3 to 4 weeks, Liu Jiwei finally settled the down payment for her new home and moved her stuff over. The new apartment was also far from the city center, just a little nearer than her original apartment. But it won by having better public transport options, and more security in the neighborhood. There was also a small park nearby. Liu Jiwei had been keeping an eye on the area for a while. But in the past, she had a 2-room flat because she planned to use one room as a handicraft room, she had never thought about making it a guest room. Wen Yao had some free time these few days, so she helped Liu Jiwei clean up the house. Sister Jiwei, you'll definitely be able to move to an even bigger, even better house. Wen Yao was confident, then asked, where should I put this? There. Liu Jiwei pointed at the table, then chuckled. I just moved, why are you thinking of me moving again? Wen Yao, this is called a logical assumption, we are free to imagine the future. She sat next to the coffee table. I did not think that you'd be able to catch so many people's attention just by acting as Xiaohe. I believe that a lot of invitations will be coming your way soon. I think, the actress who gave up on acting as Xiaohe at the start must regret it a lot now. Speaking about it, Liu Jiwei was curious. She put down the item in her hand and sat next to Wen Yao, asking curiously, why did that actress not act? She remembered that they said the actress suddenly got too proud and did not show up, so Wen Yao had the chance to send her resume over to the director. But she did not understand why the actress suddenly got so proud. Wen Yao scratched her head and thought about it. Oh, I remember. At that time, the female and male leads had not been announced yet, nobody knew it was Sangwon Si, it was only known a few days before she entered the crew. At that time, her boyfriend liked Sang Won-si, so she was unwilling to be the supporting role for Sang Won-si and she refused to show up. And another reason was that she actually wanted to use this to force director Lee to give her more scenes. She wasn't happy that Xiao He had so few scenes. Director Lee said that this character's role focused more on quality, not quantity. Once the quantity was increased too much, it would be ruined, but she refused to listen. In the end, I guess she did not expect that director Lee would just change the actor. Liu Jiwei was enlightened, and also a bit regretful. Even this can drag our teacher Sang into it. Wen Yao smiled, no choice, she's too pretty. Who would not like her once they saw her, just that face of hers? If she hooked a finger to entice someone, even a straight person would turn gay. Liu Jiwei rubbed her nose in embarrassment. Sorry, your artiste has also secretly turned gay. Wen Yao turned around and took items out of the box, mumbling as she did so, I wonder who she will end up dating in the future. The gossipy her was really very curious. Liu Jiwei propped up her head and looked at the sofa, her mood instantly dropping. She was curious too. What kind of person did Wan-si like? Can she quickly tell me her ideal type? If I work towards becoming her ideal type, would it be possible for her to like me? Even a little bit she did not know, she was not sure even with the male protagonist halo. After all, Sang Won-si was a female protagonist who did not follow the script. There was nothing she could not do, there were only things that people did not think of. Sister Jiwei, what are you thinking about? Wen Yao asked in confusion, you have something on your mind. Liu Jiwei quickly came back to her sense, no, come, let us continue packing, I will treat you to a meal later. As Wen Yao guessed, because Xiao He's role had received so much attention, a variety show that had only planned to invite the leads quickly invited Liu Jiwei as a guest after seeing the hot search. On the other side, Guo Hui had approved Sang Wan-si's leave, allowing her to shoot her scenes in advance to leave the crew for the show. They had not seen each other in a month. Liu Jiwei could not bear it, telling her the good news early. Liu Jiwei, Wan-si, I also received the invite from the variety show, I will be on the show with you all. Liu Jiwei, shy.jpg. Sang Wan-si replied quickly. Sang Wan-si, that's great. Sang Wan-si, I also applied for leave from director Guo. Sang Wan-si, I will see you then. Liu Jiwei, I will see you then. Liu Jiwei swept her eyes over the living room, thinking of something. She lowered her head and typed quickly, sending her new address over. Liu Jiwei, oh right, I moved, I am no longer staying at the old area, this is the new address. If Sang Wan-si came to look for her and went to the old address, accidentally being recognized, then she would be a sinner. Liu Jiwei, if you want to come over next time, you can call me to go fetch you at the gate. Sang Wan-si quickly saved the new address as a note in her phone. Then she opened the map app to search for it. It was still very far from her house. If she had known, she would have directly suggested for Liu Jiwei to move in with her. Living together, there would certainly be more opportunities for their feelings to develop. Even if their feelings did not develop, she would still be happy seeing Liu Jiwei at home. Just like how it was when they lived together previously. Sang Wan-si, okay, I have remembered it. Liu Jiwei, puppy nodding.jpg. Middle of June. Liu Jiwei had gotten completely used to living in her new home. She did not have any shows to film lately, so she didn't need to wake up early and sleep late. Her entire state was one of relaxation. Aside from watching Phoenix every day, she knitted the hat Liu Shijiao had asked for, preparing it for her birthday. Although it was still very early for the young lady's birthday, but it was fine for her to prepare beforehand. After all, she didn't know if there would be time later on. Besides that, she did not forget about letting Liu Shijiao come over. She picked a time and opened WeChat, looking for Liu Shijiao's chat. Liu Jiwei, Shijiao, do you have time this weekend? Liu Jiwei, I has moved, do you want to come over and play? She remembered that Liu Shijiao was studying in a university in an city. That was perfect, it wouldn't be too troublesome to come over during the weekend. Liu Shijiao was still in class. The teacher assigned the last assignment, then closed the book and said, during the next lesson, I will tell you all the important points for the next exam. Lu Mingming sat in the middle, quietly complaining, watch out classmates, that must be a very important point. Liu Shijiao smiled and poked her. The bell rang punctually. Everybody started packing up, with people leaving to eat or to go to the library. The classroom was lively. Liu Shijiao helped her dorm mates take their phones back. Her dorm mates were all discussing if they wanted to leave the school this weekend to play. Liu Shijiao's answer was decisive, I will not be going, I have to study. The term exam was nearing, and the key studying topics for the other modules had been assigned. For next semester's scholarship, she had to study hard. Lu Mingming exclaimed, what are you worried about? Our academic overload. Lu's brain is so good, she can score in the top 5 even with her eyes closed. Liu Shijiao held her arms up in front of her chest in a X sign, I refuse flattery. Then she continued, I'm not smart, my sister is way smarter than me. Her sister could do all those complicated handiwork, and she could act, how smart was she? Lu Mingming hugged her arm, you always say your sister is impressive, how is she impressive? Liu Shijiao raised her eyebrows, You guys will know in the future. Lu Mingming, tisk tisk, teasing us again. Go go go. She pushed Liu Shijiao away lightly as she hugged another dorm mate's arm, let us not care about her, we'll go out and play this weekend without her, leave her alone to guard the dorm. Liu Shijiao smiled and unlocked her phone, then found out Liu Jiwei had sent her a message. Seeing that address, she stopped in her tracks. Then, her smile grew radiant. I'm not going to guard the dorm, I'm going to my sister's house this weekend. In the blink of an eye, it was Friday. Liu Shijiao packed her clothes and her books, stepping out of the school gates excitedly. It had been a long, long time since she last met Liu Jiwei. In the past, she could only talk to her through the phone, now, they could finally chat in person. She wondered what Liu Jiwei was like off-screen. In her memory, Liu Jiwei had only accepted period dramas, with no variety shows or live streams. So she didn't even know what her sister looked like when wearing modern clothes. She was curious. She sat on the bus as she thought excitedly. I don't know what my big sister looks like when she is filming either. Was this considered a fan meeting her idol considered, she supposed, one-sidedly. Her phone vibrated. She looked down, it was a message from Liu Jiwei. Big sis, tell me when you're reaching, I will go fetch you. Liu Shijiao habitually wanted to text an okay. But she paused. No, her sister was an actress, and her show was so famous now too. What if she was recognized when she came out, then wouldn't that be troublesome for her sister? Her sister had just moved. She hesitated for a moment, forget it. Liu Shijiao, no need, I can go up myself. Big sis, it is better if I go fetch you. Big sis, weren't you a bit of a direction idiot when you were young? I'm worried you'll get lost. Liu Shijiao was surprised. Lu Shijiao, you still remember Big Sis? Of course, you're my younger sister. She remembered Lu Shijiao would play with her, and she remembered Lu Shijiao would hold on tightly to a corner of her clothes once they left the house together. Because Lu Shijiao really was someone who would get lost once she let go. Once she let go, she would be unable to recognize the road, then she would go missing. She did not know if Lu Shijiao's sense of direction had gotten better after growing up or not. Lu Shijiao was a bit touched. She was a bit of a road idiot. Although it was not very serious, she just had to spend a bit more time when looking for the route. But after so long, Lu Jiwei still remembered it. That meant she really cared about her younger sister. Lu Jiwei insisted on going down to fetch her. So Lu Shijiao didn't continue refusing. Her sister was an adult, since she insisted, then she definitely had her own considerations. Lu Shijiao carried her backpack, standing at the bus stop. After about 5 minutes, she saw someone who looked like Lu Jiwei appear. That person was wearing a black cap and had her long hair down, dressed casually. With the light flashing amber, the person quickly ran towards her. She got closer and closer. Lu Shijiao finally saw her face clearly. It was the same as what she saw on television, a refreshing, comforting face. If she had to find a difference, it would be that her face was cleaner and paler. That was her sister. Her sister that she had not seen for years. Lu Jiwei stopped in front of her, panting, "Sorry, I am late, did you wait long?" Lu Shijiao replied, "No, I just reached." She smiled, "Sis, long time no see, you have gotten even prettier." Lu Jiwei's heart, which had been tightly pinched, finally relaxed. When she was on her way, she had been thinking of all the possible scenarios, all of them awkward. In her mind, they would see each other face to face, then have nothing to say after the greetings. Because of that, she had thought hard for a while, making up her mind to try her best to get rid of the awkwardness. But when Lu Shijiao had unhesitatingly called her sis, her worries faded away. It was exactly like how it was when she was young. No matter how many times Lu Shijiao forgot her, when they next saw each other, she would innocently and obediently call her big sis. Maybe she was unimportant in the family, but she was Lu Shijiao's only older sister, this was an indisputable fact. She sighed in relief, then curved her eyes in a smile. Jiao Jiao has grown up. Grown up, grown taller, and grown more pretty. With her hair tied in a ponytail, she was even cuter than in her photos. Lu Shijiao smiled radiantly, "That is right, I am grown up, I know how to wait for big sis at the bus stop now." Lu Jiwei smiled and stretched out her hand, "That's good, our Jiao Jiao is really awesome. Are you hungry? Let us go home, sis will cook dinner for you." Lu Shijiao held onto her hand without hesitation, walking side by side with her. She whined to Lu Jiwei like she did when she was young. "Can I request for food? I want shrimps and seaweed egg drop soup." "It is all prepared for you, I'll start cooking once we get back." How did you know? You said it yourself in your updates." "Ah, today's shrimp was so good, I want to eat shrimps and seaweed egg drop soup again tomorrow, I did not eat it today, dang it, weren't those posted by our Miss Lu?" "Hehe, it is me." She did not expect Lu Jiwei to remember the things she posted in her updates. At this moment, Lu Shijiao's mood was at an all-time high. "My sis is so good. I love my big sis so much." It was the first time Lu Shijiao had visited Lu Jiwei's home. She stood in the living room and looked around. The house was definitely not comparable to the luxurious mansions other stars had. She saw the photos of Sangwon C's house that her dorm mates sent in the group chat. This house did not seem to be even half as big as Sangwon C's house. But this house was decorated by Liu Jiwei in a cozy, comfortable fashion. The color scheme was on the warm side and the furniture was cute, with her own handmade decorations hanging on the wall. It made one feel as if even if they had to stay here for a whole day and do nothing, it was a form of enjoyment. Liu Jiwei put her bag down. You are going to have your term exams soon. Liu Shijiao looked at her. Yup. Liu Jiwei frowned. Then should I not have called you over? I should have let you stay in school and study. She truly was a study inspection team leader. Liu Shijiao walked over and hugged her arm, whining. No, I can study here too. Besides, my dorm mate said, I can score in the top 5 even if I closed my eyes and did the papers. Liu Jiwei was surprised. Wow, our Jiao Jiao is so impressive. Liu Shijiao said shamelessly, that is for sure, I'm super awesome. Liu Jiwei laughed and rubbed her head. She was still that likable girl. Oh, that's right sis, I'll just say for 2 nights. I need to go back to school on Sunday, there are classes on Monday morning. Okay. She had to film the variety show on Sunday night anyway. This way, she did not have to explain it to Liu Shijiao. She took the apron, sit down and read or watch the television. I'll go cook, do not come in, just have some fruit if you're hungry. Liu Shijiao could only obediently take out her books and say, then remember to call me if you need anything, big sis. I know. Night fell. Sangwon Si sat in her car, holding her phone. The driver was driving towards her home, that lonely, soulless home. After a while, she turned to look at Zhang Xianrui. Sister Zhang, I want to go to Jiwei's home. Zhang Xianrui was holding on to her phone, and her hand froze. Sangwon C's face didn't change, she moved to a new place. She took such good care of me before, I should go over and congratulate her. Then she continued, she is going to film with me on Sunday too, I do not have anybody to chat with at home anyway, it's convenient if I stay at her place. Zhang Xianrui rubbed her forehead slowly. All right, give the address to Mr. Wu. We'll buy some fruits later, you cannot go empty-handed to congratulate someone. Okay, Sangwon C's smile was bright. I've troubled you, Sister Zhang. She did not tell Liu Jiwei, and she did not let Xiao Chu say anything either. She wanted to give Liu Jiwei a surprise. 30 minutes later, Sangwon Ci stood in front of Liu Jiwei's door alone, holding onto a fruit basket that Zhang Xianrui had prepared. It was wrapped beautifully, with all the sweetest fruits that were in season. She did not let Zhang Xianrui and the others come up, chasing them away. Zhang Xianrui looked at the security in the area. Although it was not as good as theirs, but it was definitely much better than Liu Jiwei's old house. This way, she could force herself to return without worrying. Sangwon Si wore a duckbill cap and a mask, looking at the tightly closed door. She hoped Liu Jiwei would be very happy to see her. With this hope, she reached out and pressed the doorbell. Liu Jiwei couldn't leave the kitchen, so she could only let Liu Shijiao open the door. Liu Shijiao immediately put down her pen and got up. She looked through the peephole and opened the door, asking carefully, "Who are you looking for?" Sangwon Si. An unfamiliar woman. Did she get the wrong address? I'm looking for Liu Jiwei, she said experimentally. Liu Shijiao ed and looked back, shouting, "Sis, someone's looking for you." Big sis Sangwon C's eyes widened in shock. She had a new Mimi behind her back already.